Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy George Mike Perez, aka G Mike. You already know what it is. Fantasy Football League, Los Bandoleros, Week 3 coming at you. We're going to come at you with the Week 2 results and Week 3 matchups. From the other Fantasy League managers, I've gotten a little advice to make the videos smaller, a little shorter for people to watch and listen and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. Real quick, before we get into the video, follow me on my socials at Twitter at George Mike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMikeMedia_. And then if you haven't heard my podcast on sports, it's under the G Perspective on all podcast platforms. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. And I know it was a crazy week for us. A lot of shit talking going on in the league. So it's gonna be dope to show these results and matchups for next week. All right, let's get it. First, we got myself against Ernie. Second, Jose against Juwan. Third, reigning champ Steve against Adonis, aka Crypto Wolf. Y'all go check his shit out on YouTube. Fourth, Fabi, aka The Legend. Again, I don't know what the legend of, but I guess we'll find out. Against the rookie. We got George against Kev. And then last but not least, we got Tricky against John. All right, so between Ernie and I won this matchup 112.66 to 98.30. My boys went off. I had at least 7 players with 10 or more points. That's what's up. Ernie's team kind of shitted the bed a little bit, but he still had like 5 players with 10 or more plus, but it wasn't enough to get the job done. And my dog Derrick Henry came out 85 rush yards, 1 rush TD, and 58 reception yards. Woo! Using him in the past game too. That PPR is on fire. But let's check out the bench real quick. Ernie, if you would have substituted anybody else, you probably would have gotten your ass beat a little more. So you had some good coaching, but it just wasn't good for you this week. And if I would have put Chris Olaf in or freaking the tight end from New York, man, I would have beaten your ass even more. Man. Yeah, my total bench, 77.40 points, and yours 20.30 points. Sheesh, Ernie. Well, I move on to 2-1. Ernie drops down to 2-1. He's in 6th place, and I'm in 7th place. All right, second matchup, Jawan here won 101.50 to the undefeated, but now defeated, 78.40 Jose. Jawan's team didn't do so much work, but Jalen Hurts put up 27.60 points. That's what's up. Threw for 340 pass yards, 3 pass TDs, and 20 rush yards. Imagine if he would have gotten a rush TD. Josh Allen did work for him too, so that matchup right there was close. The top receiver matchups were close, Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs. But then everyone else for them kind of shitted the bed a little bit, kind of didn't do that much. But you got ETN with 10 points that put Jawan actually really over the hump there. Jose's team, they just didn't show out. But if he would have substituted maybe Zeke in, it probably would have helped in. If he would have put in Lazard in, it would have helped in. And obviously, if he would have put Herbert in, the backup running back for Chicago, it really would have helped in. And yeah, maybe if Jawan would have switched it around, put Palmer in or Garrett Wilson, it maybe would have helped him a little more. But Jose had 73.30 bench points, and Jawan had 40.20 bench points. So if Jose would have switched it around, yep, he would have won. Jawan improves to 2-1, 2nd place. Jose drops down 2-1 to 4th place. All right, third matchup here. Steve won it by a nail biter on Monday Night Football. It was wild while I was watching. 110.68 points, and Adonis got 108.64 points. He was undefeated, but not no more. Steve's team really put in work, especially Mark Andrews. Boy had 2 reception TDs, 89 yards for 8 receptions, so he did work for sure. Everybody else did a pretty decent job. We still haven't seen JT break out for a game yet, but I'm pretty sure that's coming. Mahomes didn't have a great game, but he had a decent game. For Adonis, Saquon Barkley went off. Kelsey, like always. Tony Pollard had a decent game. He had a couple decent players. He could have won on Monday Night Football, but they didn't get. Or the Dallas Cowboys didn't give another rush to Tony Pollard, or the New York Giants, they let Daniel Jones throw a pick instead of Saquon Barkley running the ball. So we'll look at the bench players here. Adonis, you would have put in Tyler Lockett, would have helped you out. Jamal Williams would have helped you out. McKissick, whatever, but they would have really helped you out. Steve, not really. You didn't really have no one to put you over the hump like that. You did some good coaching. Good for you. But Adonis had 66.40 bench points and Steve had 37.24 points. So if Adonis would have switched stuff around, he still would have been undefeated right now and he would be first place, but didn't. He's fifth place, 2-1, drops down 2-1, and Steve improves his record from defeated to actually getting a win, 1-2, and he's in eighth place. Fourth matchup here, Jesus Christ, Gio stumped on the legend. 122.40 points, and the legend got 48 points. Fabi's team did not really do much except for Amari Cooper on Thursday Night Football. He had a game, 7 receptions, 101 reception yards, and 1 reception TD. Good job for Amari Cooper showing out, but everyone else, Tyreek didn't do anything. Justin Jefferson didn't do anything. James Conner had a decent game. They really didn't do much, but Gio's team went off. Joe Burrow actually having a good game finally. Devontae Adams having a good game too. Higgins too. He had a couple plays, but look at Devontae Smith. 169 reception yards, 8 receptions, 1 reception TD, 30 fantasy points. Boy went off. Now let's check out the bench here. Bobby would have put in Tyler Boyd. It would have helped you out, but you still would have lost. You would have put in Justin Herbert for Jared Goff. No, he would have got you less points. So no matter what Fabi did, he still would have lost that game. And if Gio would have put Stevenson in, the running back, it would have even increased his points even more. But Gio had a good coaching strategy going on. Gio had 59.60 points for the bench, and Fabi had 38.88 points. So no matter what, Fabi was taking that loss. Bobby's 0-3, Jesus Christ, 11th place, and Gio, the rookie, improves to 1-2, and he's in 10th place. All right, fifth matchup here. It was a high-scoring matchup, no lie. Kev, 131.16 points, and George, a.k.a. losing hurts, and losing is still hurting, 120.06 points. For George, most of his team went off. I'm not going to lie. He has some good performances from his players, especially CD Lamb with a backup quarterback. 87 reception yards, 8 receptions, 1 reception TD. But it was not enough to beat Kev. He got Russell Gage with 24 fantasy points, 12 receptions, 87 reception yards, and 1 reception TD. That's because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are out. But Nick Chubb having a good game like always. Dalvin Cook had a decent game. Matthew Stafford, you got to get that boy out of there, man. And then Cordell Patterson, 22.30 points, 141 rush yards, 1 rush TD, and 12 reception yards. Had a great game. Let's see if George could have switched some things around. Yup, if he would have put Derek Carr in for Russell Wilson, he would have won. We put Damian Pierce in. Not really if you switch that around. But if you would put Derek Carr in, you probably would have won. And then Kev, your team went off and your bench did not do really anything. So you had some good coaching there in your starting lineups. For George, 83.96 bench points, and Kev, 40.40 bench points. So George, if you would have put in Derek Carr for Russell Wilson, you would have beat Kevin in this matchup for sure. But now you're down to 0-3, last place in the league. Sheesh. And then we got Kevin improving to 1-2, and he is 9th place in the league. And this was the matchup of the week. We got Trick with 139.62 points. Jesus Christ. Had a game. And then Johnny's team shit the bed. 84.94 points. Trick's team went off. Lamar Jackson, 4 pass TDs, 107 rush yards, 218 pass yards. Went off. AJ Brown did his thing. Eckler finally had a decent game. Melvin Gordon had a good game. And then Marquise Brown with 28 fantasy points, 14 receptions, 140 yards. sheesh, boy went out for real. And Johnny's team did not do much. Christian Kirk still balling, 72 reception yards, 6 receptions, 1 reception TD. Your running backs did not do nothing. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, I don't know where they were at. Tyler Higbee did his thing, but for a tight end, 10 points. Yeah, that's a good game. And then AJ Green, I don't understand why you did not sub him out, or you were busy. I don't know what it was, but that guy did not even touch the field. So I don't know what you were thinking there. But let's see if your bench, Devin Singletary, you would have put him in. Yeah, it would have helped you out, but you still would have lost. Bryce Hall, he would have helped you out too. Still would have lost. And that's really much it. The Tricky's team just went off, and his bench wouldn't really have done much if he would have switched it. If he would have put George Kittle in, yeah, he would have given him 6 more points, so he would have been up there 145 points. He would have shitted on you even more, but he had 51.60 points on his bench, and Johnny had 43.90 points on his bench. No matter what Johnny did, he was taking that L. He was undefeated. Now he's 2-1, third place in the league, and Tricky remains undefeated, the only undefeated team in the league. Triquan Bethel, aka Tricky Dicky, 3-0. Shout out to him, man. All right, so for the matchups next week, got myself going up against George, aka Losing Hurts, 0-3, and it's gonna continue hurting, motherfucker. You're gonna go to 0-4. Then we got Jose going up against Tricky, undefeated. Then we got the reigning champ, Steve, going up against the defeated, the legends, the Cocaine Cowboys. We got Jawan going up against Kev. We got the rookie going up against Ernie. And then we got Adonis, a.k.a. Crypto Wolf, and going up against Johnny, the hot rapper from Miami. Now, if you just check out the standings here, we got the only undefeated team, Triquan Bethel. We got 6 teams 2-1, including myself. Then we got 3 teams 1-2 and 2 teams 0-3. All right, so that was the week 3 results, and we got the week 4 matchups. Hopefully, you guys keep tuning in and check out who's gonna win this league and who's gonna make some dope trades and who's gonna come on the podcast to talk shit about another manager and shit like that. But it's gonna be dope for sure. Don't forget to follow me on socials at Twitter at George Mike Perez, and then Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMikeMedia_. And if you haven't heard about the podcast that I have been doing, it's called The G Perspective on all podcast platforms. If you ever want to come on and talk some sports, basketball, football, we got the MLB playoffs about to start soon next week. If you want to come on and talk about anything and everything, man, hey, just shoot me, holla, and I'll get you on.